Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our class. Today we are starting an exciting journey with our first slide. Class 1 Introduction to Living World. I'm thrilled to have you all here. In this session, we'll introduce the fascinating world of living things. We'll explore what makes something alive, look at different types of organisms, and understand their importance. So get ready for an engaging and informative experience. Let's dive in. The term biology was actually coined independently by two naturalists in the early 19th century. French naturalist Jean-Baptiste Lamarck and German naturalist Gottfried Reinhold Treviranus both used this term around 1802. When we talk about biology, we're referring to the scientific study of life and living organisms. It's a broad field that deals with understanding how living things are structured, how they function, and how they grow. Additionally, biology explores how different forms of life have evolved over time and how they are distributed across the planet. The most important concept here is that biology helps us understand the diversity of life and the processes that shape it. The word itself comes from Greek bios, meaning life, and logos, meaning study. So essentially, biology is the study of life itself. This foundation is key as we explore the complexities and wonders of living organisms throughout this presentation. Let's take a closer look at the major branches of biology, which help us understand the diversity of life and how living things interact with their environment. First, we have anatomy, which is the study of the structure of the body, how organs and systems are built and work together. This is fundamental because understanding structure helps us comprehend function. Next, ecology focuses on how organisms relate to their environment and each other, revealing the complex web of life around us. Moving on, genetics explores heredity and genes, giving us insight into how traits are passed down and how species evolve over time. Microbiology is all about microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, fungi, that play crucial roles in health, industry, and ecosystems. Zoology is the study of animals, from tiny insects to large mammals, helping us understand their behavior and adaptations. Lastly, botany examines plants, which are essential for life on Earth, providing oxygen, food, and habitat. These branches collectively form the core of biology, each focusing on different aspects of living organisms, and together they help us appreciate the complexity and interconnectedness of life. Let's take a closer look at the key features that define living organisms. First, we have growth, which is simply the increase in size and mass as an organism develops. Moving on, reproduction is essential for the continuation of a species, allowing organisms to produce offspring. Next, we see that all living things are made up of cells, which are the basic building blocks of life. This cellular organization allows for the complex functions necessary for survival. Chemical processes in the body, known as metabolism, are also vital. They help convert food into energy and support all bodily functions. Living organisms respond to their environment through reactions to stimuli, enabling them to adapt and survive changes around them. Adaptation is a crucial feature that allows species to adjust to their surroundings over generations. This leads us to evolution, where gradual changes occur over time, shaping the diversity of life we see today. Finally, all these features work together to support the overarching theme of how living organisms maintain life's complexity and continuity, from cellular processes to adaptive evolution. Let's take a closer look at the levels of biological organization that make up all life on Earth. Starting from the broadest level, we have the biosphere, which includes everything about the planet that supports life. It's like the entire Earth and all its ecosystems. Within the biosphere, we find communities, which are groups of different populations living and interacting together along with their environment. Ecosystems are a step further. These are communities plus the non-living things that influence them, like water, soil, and climate. Think of an ecosystem as a functioning unit where living and non-living elements work together. Now, zooming in a bit, we consider a community, which is made up of all the same species living in a particular area. For example, all the trees or all the fish in a lake. When we talk about a population, we mean all the individual organisms of a single species in that area, like all the wolves in a forest. Going even smaller, we have the organism, each living being that carries out all life processes. Inside each organism, organs work together, a heart, lungs, and stomach, for instance, to keep it alive. These organs form organ systems, like the circulatory or respiratory systems, which perform specific functions. At the cellular level, we have the organ itself, which is a group of similar cells working together to perform a particular task. Cells are the basic units of life, the smallest unit that can carry out all life functions on its own. Cells are made up of tissues, which are groups of similar cells working together, like muscle tissue or nerve tissue. And finally, at the most fundamental level, we have the cell itself, the basic building block of all living organisms. Each level builds upon the previous one, creating a complex hierarchy that helps us understand how life is organized on Earth. Recognizing these levels is key to understanding how all living things are interconnected in the grand web of life. Let's take a closer look at the KPCOFGS, which stands for Kerala Police Commissioner Ordered Finished Goods. Just kidding. It actually represents the taxonomic hierarchy. Remember this as KPCOFGS. This system helps us organize and classify living organisms in a structured way. Starting from the broadest category, we have the kingdom, then phylum or division, followed by class, order, family, genus, and finally species. Now, a key point to keep in mind is that species is considered the smallest unit in this hierarchy. It's the most specific classification, identifying individual types of organisms. Moving on, let's briefly discuss the five-kingdom system, which was proposed by R.H. Whittaker in 1969. This system divides all living organisms into 5 main groups. First, we have Monera, which includes bacteria and blue-green algae. Next is Protista, comprising algae and protozoa. Then comes fungi, which includes mushrooms, yeast, and molds. The fourth kingdom is Plantae, covering all plants. And finally, Animalia, which is all animals. Understanding this classification system is fundamental because it helps us grasp the diversity of life and see how different organisms are related. It provides a clear framework for studying biology and understanding the natural world around us. Let's start with the groundbreaking discovery of bacteria. Anton van Leeuwenhoek is credited as the first person to observe bacteria, which was a huge step forward in microbiology. He's often called the father of microbiology because of his pioneering work using simple microscopes to look at tiny organisms. Moving on, in 1665, Robert Hooke coined the term cell after observing the structure of cork. This was a fundamental moment because it introduced the concept of cells as the basic building blocks of life. He also discovered cells, which laid the groundwork for modern cell biology. Now, when we talk about evolution, Charles Darwin is the key figure. He's known as the father of evolution because of his theory of natural selection. This idea revolutionized how we understand the development of species over time. In genetics, Gregor Mendel is recognized as the father of genetics. His experiments with pea plants uncovered the laws of inheritance, helping us understand how traits are passed from one generation to the next. For taxonomy, Carolus Linnaeus is known as the father of binomial nomenclature. His system of nomming organisms with 2 names, genus and species, made the classification of living things much clearer and standardized. And of course, Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, is often called the father of biology. His efforts to categorize and understand living organisms laid the foundation for biological sciences. Finally, it's important to see how all these figures and ideas connect to the broader theme of scientific discovery. Each of these pioneers contributed uniquely to our understanding of life, from microscopic organisms to the diversity of species and the principles that govern inheritance and evolution. Rudolf Virchow played a crucial role in shaping our understanding of cell theory. Today, I want to highlight the 3 main points that form the foundation of this theory. First, all living organisms are made up of 1 or more cells. Think of cells as the building blocks of life. They are the basic units that make up every living thing around us. Second, the cell is not just a structural component, but also the functional unit of life. This means that all the activities necessary for life, like growth, energy production, and reproduction, occur within these tiny units. So even the most complex organisms rely on cells to carry out essential functions. Third, and perhaps most interesting, is that all cells come from pre-existing cells. This idea, which Virchow emphasized, tells us that new cells are formed through division, ensuring continuity and growth in living organisms. It's important to remember that this modern understanding of cells was built on the earlier work of Schleiden and Schwann. But Virchow's contribution in 1855 really solidified the concept that cells arise from other cells. Together, these points emphasize how central cells are to life, and how they connect all living things into a unified biological system. Let's quickly review some key points from our biology journey. Biology is essentially the study of life, a term coined by Lamarck. When we talk about the classification of living organisms, we refer to the 5 kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. To organize these, we use the taxonomic order KPCOFGS, which helps scientists categorize life systematically. A fundamental concept is that the cell is the basic unit of life. This was established by Robert Hooke way back in 1665. Throughout history, many great thinkers have shaped biology. Aristotle is considered the father of biology, laying the groundwork for understanding living things. Linnaeus earned the title of father of taxonomy because he developed the binomial nomenclature system for naming species. Mendel is known as the father of genetics for his work on inheritance. Darwin is called the father of evolution due to his groundbreaking theory of natural selection. And finally, the cell theory, developed by Schleiden, Schwann, and Virchow, tells us that all living things are made up of cells. These concepts are the foundation of biology and help us understand the incredible diversity and unity of life. Next, we have an exciting biology video on cell structure and functions. I encourage you to like this content if you found it helpful, and don't forget to leave a comment if you have any questions or insights. Sharing this with your friends can also help them learn more about the fascinating world of cells. And if you want to stay updated with more SSC and RRB content, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for your attention and support. I hope you enjoy the upcoming video and find it as interesting and informative as the rest of this presentation.